Welcome to my world. Michelle Ray. What's up, everybody? So, if you couldn't guess, this is not going to be one of my really funny videos. This is that follow-up video that I promised y'all a while back. And for anybody who does not know me, just, other than that whole intro middle finger thing back there, I'm so sorry for that. Just out of all due respect to the preachers and the Sunday school teachers and the like, I am going to keep this video very, very clean. With that being said, today's rating. Alright, so for anyone who doesn't really know me, I guess I've always been fascinated with death. I've been fascinated with the afterlife. And I chose a PG rating because, well, I wouldn't want to see a kid actually watch this video alone. But I also feel like there's a lot of children out there that they could benefit from watching this with a parent. Take me, for example. I was only about 7 years old when I woke up one morning and found out my brother was gone and he wasn't coming back. You know, we're not really here to focus on my brother or the whole situation regarding my brother. More or less, I just feel that children, they deserve an explanation when they lose somebody. And even as adults, when we lose loved ones, we wonder, do they hear us when we talk to them? Are they trying to reach out to us somehow? Yeah, I don't have all the answers. I think I have a few. I know I have a few. Unlike a lot of people, though, it's not the same old run-of-the-mill story for me. Now I will say this. One of my favorite places to go ever since I was about 20 years old has been the cemetery. To me, it was the closest I could ever get to either one of my brothers. And even though I find myself talking to them in the back of my mind every day, you know, it's still not the same. You know, they say lightning never hits twice in one spot. Science has proven over and over again that's a lie. When it comes to death, it would be the lightning bolt. I would be the lightning rod. I've really got to quit doing that. It's not healthy. But I want to take a moment to think. In order to understand the first part of what's in the afterlife, you need to really understand what it's like to die. Take a moment. Welcome to my world. I've always had an untamed soul, always searching for the answers to every question, always needing to know what is around the next curve and over the next mountain. With a click of a button, we can take a trip around the world, but how many of us have the courage to actually pack a bag and go right now? Imagine today is your last. If you knew within hours or even minutes, you would no longer be in a physical realm, but your existence would be of a different place, with an all-new sense of time. What would you do in the moments that you do have left? The reality is, Everyone dies. If you got a second chance, what would you do with it? Would you think of family and love? Find what you had been missing and fight for it? Would you gather strength, courage, and determination to finally chase down a dream that has always remained just out of reach? Would you find a way to express to others what you have been through in life as well as death? I throw caution to the wind every day. I take chances. I make mistakes. I believe in being spontaneous and living every day as if it were my last. I lived through my last days, and today I will tell you of not one, but two of those experiences. Truth is, I shouldn't be here. But I guess everything in life and death happens for a reason. So now that we have the backdrop out of the way, growing up, I always heard my dad on the phone with private investigators. I learned at an early age, cops don't always do their job. Death certificates don't always read right. And I also found out a lot about my brothers, how they were always into drugs and drinking. I guess that sort of put me on the path to self-destruction in some ways. I wanted to be like them, but at the same time, I wanted to find out what had happened to them. I wanted the answers that nobody else could provide for me. And by doing so, I was about 20 years old, and at that point in my life, I grew up in a religious home, very Christian home. So in the back of my mind, I always acknowledged God or heaven or hell and things like that. But at that point in time, I didn't care. I was on so many drugs at that point in time, I didn't really feel like God could kill me. Well, it was the drugs that killed me. And I still think it was God that decided that I just had to come back for some reason or another. And that experience wasn't pleasant. I can tell you that now. Most people envision hell as flames and lava, screaming. My experience wasn't like that. I was in a room that never really seemed to end. I couldn't tell if I was hot or cold. It seemed the heat was so severe, it made me cold, or the cold was so severe, it made me hot. Either way, I'll never forget the murmuring around me, and I'll never forget what it felt like when they had their claws in me. The first conscious memory I have was about 24 hours after I had died, and I woke up in the hospital. And, I'll give doctors credit. When you just up and die, they keep a very close eye on you. Because as soon as I woke up, the first thing I noticed was that the entire wall was just covered in demons. And there ain't no Hollywood red glowing eye cute critter type demon. No, I can't even describe what they looked like. But there were just thousands of them. It was like that wall was not there. I was still halfway, like 1 foot in hell. I could still smell the same smells. I could still feel the hot, the cold. I still heard the mumbling. And, the worst of it was when I actually opened my eyes was that I was looking those creatures in the eye, and they were up on me, and they would slowly fall back into the wall. And the best moment, I think, was when I felt that last hand, if you can call it that, finally slip off of my foot. And I saw them finally fall back. And that wall that was supposed to be there was finally a wall. See, time is irrelevant in the spiritual realm. It's not the way we are used to. Like I said, this is 24 hours after they had brought me back. But still, there was a part of me that wasn't in the physical. A lot of people, they say, well, drug overdose, maybe, it was playing tricks on your mind, it was just a dream. No, I had scratches all over my legs. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I know for a fact, hell is real. Of course, I didn't exactly use that as any great life lesson. Still, I cuss like a trucker and live my life with the roll of the dice. But I did realize one thing, and that was there was more to life. I went from thinking even God himself couldn't kill me to wondering, why would God want me to still be here? And for years, I wondered. And for years, I fought back on that moment in my life when I felt the demons from hell touching me. And it wasn't until recently I started to get a few more answers. It's true. When someone comes back, they start to look past themselves, past this rock we live on floating through space, and start looking past the stars. I feel things differently. I view things differently. But why me? Why did I get a second chance? I promise, I never used it the way God had wanted me to. I'm pretty sure of that. When you realize that other dimensions exist, you'll never think of life, death, yourself, or the universe in the same way again. Well, a couple weeks ago, when I was in the hospital, it's really weird. I only really remember bits and pieces. I mean, going into the ER, trying to argue with the doctor in the ER. And if he ever finds this video, hey, dude, I'm sorry. Luckily for you, I was on my deathbed, or it would have probably been worse. I'm sorry. Anywho, I remember when I finally got to the ICU, they were explaining different procedures that they had to do to try to stabilize me, and I remember a couple different things where I was conscious, or at least semi-conscious, but then I also, the first couple days, multiple times, I would just completely crash. Just, my body just couldn't just do anything really. I remember like the day after I got to the hospital, I woke up for a brief moment and I I wanted to try to call my mom because I didn't know what was going on really. But I couldn't even get my phone unlocked. Nothing on me wanted to function at all. And then I remember it was Saturday night. I woke up for a moment, and the ICU, the nurse, he was just standing there, and he had his arms all crossed and big grin on his face, and I look at him and I was like, why are you smiling at me like that? What's going on? He was like, it's unbelievable. And I was like, what? What's unbelievable? He's like, we lost you a few times. I really didn't know if you were going to make it at all. And I'm looking at him and, I'm trying to play it cool. At the same time, my mind is going 1,000,000 miles an hour, I swear. On the outside, I was just like, oh, hey, well, that's me. Yeah, I got things to do. Okay? I mean, come on. I'm trying to get my music out there. I got to do that before, I die. So, sorry, I'm not sticking around for you. And he's like, that's what I'm talking about. You are so responsive. And you should not be here. I'm like, oh, well, I might not walk out of here because, well, this is the ICU, but I promise you, I'm not going to die here. He's like, we've already lost you a few times. And that's when it really hit me what he meant. But through it all, this time, I don't remember death at all. This time I remember angels in my room. If I fall, will the angels catch me, or end it all as in my destiny? Is there a sound when the ground absorbs me, or a dream telling me my story? I came to the conclusion all those dreams I had weren't dreams. Every time I'd start to slip away, some white room, same three beings right outside of my vision. With them, they had their own unique traits and messages, if you can call it that. As crazy as that sounds, it gets even better. They were there when I was awake as well. So, as much as I want to make this really quick and painless, this is not going to be quick and painless, I'm afraid, because it was only a couple weeks ago. It's very fresh in my mind. There's just so much that happened in that week at the hospital. A lot of people didn't even know that I was in the hospital. I never made a big Facebook post or anything. As I said, the first couple days I couldn't even get my phone unlocked. Once I was finally able to get my phone unlocked, I only let a couple people know, what was going on. I took some videos and stuff so that I could throw it together and throw it out there on YouTube after I got out. I literally uploaded that video as I was walking out the hospital door. Mainly, I just wanted peace and quiet. But whenever I was in there, in the first couple days, well, about the first 4 days I was in there, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, okay, 3. The first 3 days, that's when the doctors were really on high alert. And I didn't realize what was going on. And it didn't hit me even until about a week ago. What was actually going on. basically every time I would go to sleep, I would always find myself in like a white, never-ending room, and I would always see those three beings right outside of my vision. But I never really, I thought it was just a dream. And then, I know the doctor would always rush in my room, start yelling at me, and talking about how my blood pressure and the oxygen and everything was just going to rock bottom again. And you tell me to get some rest, and then you're running in my room screaming at me. Really? That's all I was thinking. I was getting highly annoyed with that. Come to find out, though, now that, I've had some time to really reflect on that, it's like I had one foot in the spiritual realm, and I had one foot still barely just trying my best to cling to dear life every time I closed my eyes. It requires more courage to suffer than to die. It was Saturday afternoon. And I finally, some of that fog was gone. I successfully completed a major milestone and figured out how to unlock my phone. And I was finally able to start sending messages. So that was a big accomplishment. And obviously I was very much, awake. But out of the corner of my eye, I still kept seeing these three separate beings, these people. And that's the part I'm really going to tell you about. This is where the video gets really interesting. Thank you for making it this far. I'm going to start off with the lady. She was an elderly lady. I'll never forget whenever I was a child and I'd go to Ohio, I can still tell you exactly what my mama and papa's house smelled like. And that lady that was in my room, she had like that same scent to her. And when she looked at me, though, and like I said, communication is so different. It's just a whole nother level of communication. It's a whole lot of mental images and just a whole lot of information all in a split second. And there was so much about music. Like, I have been looking for every excuse in the book to just turn around and go hide under my rock. But I can honestly tell you now, because of her, I'm pretty sure I'm here to stay. Pretty sure this is exactly where I need to be. Well, getting there. It's a work in progress, but I know where I'm going. And that was thanks to her. She brought the fire that I already had in me, and she just relit it a millionfold. The warmth of an angel's light can comfort and illuminate the whole world. Alright, so we talked about the lady that I call Music. I'll get to one of the nicknames in just a minute. The second angel I want to tell you about is, there was a middle-aged man. He was kind of behind me and off to the side. There was like a sink and a small counter area. And he would have his elbows on the counter, and he would always be looking down, like he was really trying to think. He was just lost in deep thought. Now, I call him Loyalty. When he would look at me, I would feel so many emotions. He took, basically, the mental images were of 5 people that I thought would never, in my wildest dreams, turn their back on me. The emotion that I felt, though, when these names would just kind of circulate in my mind, and just the images that I was getting, it was nothing but pain and disappointment and heartache. And somewhere, though, in it, there was love. There was hope. And through it all, though, he was different. Unlike the other two angels, he actually spoke. Not the way you and I speak, per se, but when he would look at me, I kept hearing over and over and over, love will reveal itself in the future. The rest will fall at your feet. I'm still trying to kind of work out all of the pieces. It's like he just handed me this 1,000 piece puzzle and dumped it out. So I'm trying to organize it. And, I'll tell you this. I've only been out of the hospital a little while, and already, sure enough, a couple of those people already put their head under a guillotine. I mean, just straight up. You can like my posts on Facebook all you want. Watch my videos all you want. I'm not in your DMs no more, though, am I? But I'm trying to keep this video clean, so we're moving on. Bottom line is, loyalty means everything. And there's still a couple people that I'm sitting back and I'm just kind of wondering, waiting. I mean, I guess life would be too simple if people could just be honest, straight up, and spit the truth. God forbid. It's funny, when you need me, I'm there for you. But when I need you, you're too busy or don't care. Alright, so we talked about sweet music. Talked about good old loyalty over there. Like I said, 3 out of 5. I think I'm doing pretty good. If the other two could just make life easy, and I don't know. Let's get this over with, because, ugh. Anywho, I'm always saving the best for last here, and whenever it comes to my angels, I have no better way to describe this one other than my guardian. See, loyalty and music, they were kind of in and out. They never really stuck around. But the guardian, he was always there, at the doorway. I would always see him. Like I said, this all happened, that Saturday. And I knew, okay, I'm awake, I'm focused, I'm working my phone. He was the first one that made his presence known, too. I saw someone standing at the door. I look over, no one's there. As soon as I turned my head, he was right back. And at first he didn't really, make himself known. He was more like a shadow for a minute. Like, he was just kind of slowly trying to ease his way in. But just knowing that he was there, I could feel his presence. There was no denying him being there. He was more powerful than the other two combined. The strength, the power, just, I wasn't scared of him. I knew he was, like, on my side. At the same time, when he would look into my soul, the thing about him is, he went from the door and he would actually stand right by me. I had like a table there by the bed. Angels they don't let furniture stop them. If they want to stand by you, they're going to stand by you. And it was kind of awkward. I mean, I remember laying there and like I knew he was there. He was so close to me. Like, I felt like I could have literally touched him. I felt like, okay, I can't look at him. I know he's going to disappear now. But if I just put my hand over here, I'm going to touch him. But, you know, it was also kind of awkward because I'm like, all right, there's a table there. You're standing in the table. Yeah, I'm holding my breath because he has so much energy coming out of him. But my brain actually had a moment to process the fact that he's standing in a table. So the things that I saw answered a lot of my previous questions about why I ever got a second chance to begin with. You know, back whenever I was 20, why? Why me? You know, I've been looking for those answers for so long. And it was like he was there to really clear that up for me some. I will say this. It was because of him I had the determination to really fight my way out of that hospital. No matter how bad I wanted to give up, when I was at my weakest, he was right there by my bed, making me fight. There was no, like, I'm shaking just thinking about it. There was no way that I was just going to lay down and die. He wasn't going to have that. But then also I got a glimpse of certain things, and all I'm really gonna say at this point in time is that justice will be served. The infinite in me honors the infinite in you. Just because you don't see anything happening, it doesn't mean angels are not working or not hearing you. Alright, so, I took you to hell. I told you about my angels. And, in my waking hours, they started to appear Saturday. And what I was trying to explain to you, all of this took place really in bits and pieces clear through Tuesday. I squished it all together though, that way it kind of made more sense, I guess, in some ways, and we're not here for 5 hours. But basically, now I'm gonna really explain to you what it is like to die. Sunday night, things are all on the up and up. Whenever I'm messaging, I'm almost writing in sentence form again. Yeah. It was a rough sport there for a minute. But for the most part, I got used to the angels. Loyalty and music, they kind of came and went. Guardian standing over there by the door. In retrospect, I think I should have taken that as a warning. The doctors, they were pretty optimistic about getting me moved down a level. And, that to me was the greatest thing I think I'd heard in quite a while, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah, I'm up there where literally the doctor he's saying what's your name so that he can put it on your toe tag. Most people don't get out of that level ICU. Um, so I was pretty happy. Um, but then Monday afternoon happened.
And she finally gave up, dropped the fake smile, as a tear ran down her cheek, and she whispered to herself, I can't do this anymore. Alright, so I'm not gonna go into the details. If you want the details, check out the whole death, dying video I have down there. Um, yeah. Anyway, Monday afternoon, I had the one doctor. She had come to get the main IV out of my wrist because I had the one in my neck still, which is where they were pumping everything into me. All my medicine was going in it. All the blood they needed was going out of it. Basically, it was like right in your main artery, just goes straight to the heart. And mind you, I'm in the ICU. Okay. Now everybody knows I'm allergic to amoxicillin. This is where that phrase just keeps coming to mind. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Well, somebody got this wonderful idea in their head. They were going to put unison in that machine over there and pump it into me. Unison is the cousin to amoxicillin. That's not going to end well now, is it? And I'm not a doctor, but that's just not going to end well, okay? Well, they turned that machine on, and literally within 5 seconds, mind you, I have a doctor over here squeezing my wrist, worried about me bleeding to death or something. And within 5 seconds, I'm sitting straight up in bed, and I'm looking over at this other doctor, and I'm like, the medicine. What is wrong with the medicine? Because I knew the feeling that I get when I have an allergic reaction. But in the past, it's always been like a slow process, mind you. You take a pill and, it gradually kind of kicks in. This, they turn the machine on and it's going in and it just goes straight to your heart. Mm-mm. Um, literally the only thing I could really explain to the doctor, it hit me so fast. The whole allergic reaction. The hot, cold, sweats, hives, pins, needles. It was horrible. But I remember finally just centering my focus on one point over to the side, and I thought of 4 people. I mean, by this point, I couldn't even breathe. And I was still trying to sit there, and I was just focusing. I thought of my mom. I thought of my dad. I thought of my daughter. And I thought of one other person. And at that point in time, subconsciously, you're in the ICU. What better place to die than the ICU, because, hey, they're going to bring you back. But physically, your body is like, oh, we're not waiting on your subconscious. No. Right now we're dying. Okay, this is like death mode. Basically, I remember at that point, I got so weak. I felt so calm, though. And in those moments, it felt like everything kind of paused long enough for me to really focus. And it's like I tried to explain with the angels. Communication, it's on a whole nother level. And,
you get like the images and the emotions, and there's so much just like that. I could sit here and I could talk for hours about the things that happen in a matter of seconds. So, yeah, when you're consciously dying, you do take that moment to really reflect, and reach out. Um, and I know the last thing I really thought about after those four people was, as I was just kind of laying back, I just kept saying, God, no, not now. And I remember the doctor putting the Benadryl in me, to try to slow the whole process, thinking to myself, you're so stupid. It's already too late. Physically, I'm done. And then everything just started to just melt like away. And I vaguely remember them saying, something EpiPen. I found out later it's like an adult version of like EpiPen. Whatever. And then I remember just not remembering anything. But I can tell you that, yeah, you do think of other people. You really do.
When you fall to your knees and ask God for help, don't forget to fall back to your knees and say thank you when He answers.
Oh, a few hours later, I realized God, He listened. I woke up, and at that moment, I really didn't know if I should be happy or mad. I mean, I got to the hospital Thursday, and between Thursday and Monday, I went 4 rounds with the Grim Reaper now. Yeah, I'm getting frustrated at this point in time. My body, I'm weak. I'm just ready to, no, I'm done. So, I grabbed my phone, and I wanted to let, a couple people know, I'm done. I'm not going to fight another battle. Okay? If the Grim Reaper decides to show up again, I don't think I have it in me to go on anymore. And of course, the response, it just, nobody wanted to agree with that. Let's put it that way. But it was then the craziest thing happened. The guardian, he went from the door and he was right beside the bed. And the other two, music and loyalty, they also were focusing in on me. Like I said, they never left their spots, but I could always tell when they were looking at me. So I had all three of them looking at me that time. And my phone, I started having messages on my phone. And, I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? And, so I was, communicating with these three individuals, thinking everything is normal. I'm still sitting there kind of skeptical though, because I know these angels are looking at me, and I'm like, what is going on? Thinking that I should be feeling or seeing or something. I'm just having these messages. And then the messages started changing. And I'm going to talk about one message. The other two, I'm the one that I will talk about, basically the chat screen, it was purple. And let's just say it had to do with music. So I know where I'm going. But then there were the other two, loyalty and justice. And because, I finally got to the point to where I was like, okay, you know what? I need to lay down. I need to get some sleep. I just got so tired all of a sudden. So basically, I laid down and I went to sleep. Well, whenever I woke up, I was like, okay, I'm gonna reread these conversations, all right, because something's really crazy right now, and I'm looking at my phone and the conversations aren't there. One of the people that I was talking to, though, thought I was talking to, confirmed that maybe I was going crazy because I wasn't. It was nowhere there. I mean, I went through the chat history. I was like, what in the world is going on? But I'm not really gonna touch base on any of that yet. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. I really don't. I wish I did. And I hope maybe I helped some of you. But after that, I did get a lot better. They never did move me down Monday. But, Tuesday afternoon they did. And, I didn't see the angels after I left the ICU. I still kind of feel them from time to time. Like, I can feel something there. I can't explain that, really, other than I feel like something's there. But, I don't see them, I guess. They've shown me and told me and just helped me enough, I guess. And then it was Wednesday of that week. I got the thing out of my neck. And, that's, when my daughter, she came into the hospital. And I guess there's nothing like really looking into the eyes of a child to really just wrap everything up. And that's the best way I can put it.
With one look into my daughter's eyes while in a hospital bed, I remembered what I had forgotten so many years ago. Life is fragile, but from the moment we are born with a great curiosity. And when you take time to look through the eyes of a child, you will find the true meaning of life through all their joy and excitement. Hi, so I'm going to wrap this up real quick. If anybody has any questions regarding anything that I've said, just shoot me a comment or, just get a hold of me somehow. I'm not too hard to find. Also, I do still have a couple questions. I have a lot of answers for the most part. I'm sitting here and I'm just waiting for things to play out. I'd rather it be sooner than later, but hey. Congratulations to those of you who made it through the video. Seriously, you rock, okay? You don't want to know how long it took me
to actually get this video where I feel like it almost made sense for everybody. Aside from that, at the beginning of the video, I said I was going to keep it clean. We're almost to that goal. Almost. Smash subscribe. Click that little bell. If you haven't already, be sure to do that. Also, as always, Monkstar down there in the description. Go check them out. And other than that, you know what? It's clean. So yeah, I love y'all.
So many people live within unhappy circumstances and yet will not take the initiative to change their situation because they are conditioned to a life of security, conformity, and conservatism, all of which may appear to give one peace of mind, but in reality, nothing is more damaging to the adventurous spirit within a man than a secure future. The very basic core of a man's living spirit is his passion for adventure. The joy of life comes from our encounters with new experiences, and hence there is no greater joy than to have an endlessly changing horizon, for each day to have a new and different sun.